Right, excellent afternoon to all our viewers across the globe. The story of women's struggle for equality belongs to no single feminist, nor to one organization, but to the collective effort of all who care about human rights. Again, I say excellent afternoon to you all. You are welcome to another thought-provoking edition of Real Talk with Kike. And my name remains Kike Atanda because myself and my co-host started to do a little banter before we came on air. Lala, how about today? How you doing?
Very excited. It's always an honor to be on this chair. Every time that we share your lunch hour with you. Thank you so much for sharing it with us all the time. My name is Omotunde Adewale David. Welcome to another exciting show.
Marshall, our house husband.
House husband. You know, it's funny when we come on air. And, you know, I heard someone saying on radio that broadcasting is like, we put a little bit of acting in it because even when we are quarreling and we are at loggerheads, we just have to come here and ensure that we give you the dish that you expect us to serve you. We actually started our show off camera from the trending segment, but we have to start from the top. Now, welcome. My name is Marshall Anthony Ononye. Welcome.
All right, on this particular day in history, something happened to the legendary Afrobeat singer Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Let's get to hear from her on this day in history segment. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, many thanks for staying with us on this day in history segment. You know, it's just unfortunate many times when I see how Fela Anikulapo Kuti passed on. You know, I felt that, you know, now that AIDS, you can manage AIDS for decades, you know, without you even that. But quickly, Lolo, what's your take on these days?
Honestly, you know, sometimes they say that you don't get honor sometimes until your demise. Fela is a legend. The Afrobeat that we all enjoy today is something he developed and he put Nigeria on the map. And he suffered, really. He was a social activist all till his death. He spoke against the government. If Fela was to arise now and you hear the songs he sang yesteryears, you think he just recorded the song like 2 weeks ago because they are still as relevant as the time that he sang them. Honestly, he is a legend, and I'm happy that even in death, he's still regarded as such.
49, 99 standing, about 70s. It's a rest in peace. He would always be a legend to us and an inspiration to the up-and-coming youth. If not just the up-and-coming, we've got superstars who would not let go of the legacy of Baba 70s. Rest on.
All right, it's time for a quick message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Today's show is a special edition celebrating our International Women's Day, and the theme for the International Women's Day, I think last year was I choose to challenge, and I have been asking myself after all the causes that the challenges women stood for in place of leadership, in place of politics, in place of governance, and of course participation in national building. And many have been granted. We saw what transpired at the House of Assembly, and I must say that we choose to challenge inequality and discrimination against the girl child last year, and how much more the inequality going on in our system today. On the show today, we are reflecting on the International Women's Day for 2021, and of course the theme for this year is about gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And this theme still reflects our society, and we should all be working together in terms of sustainable tomorrow or sustainable society. And women are increasingly becoming recognized as more vulnerable to our climate change impact than men, and I must say that they have constitute a majority of the world's poor, or will I say more independent or dependent on the natural resources which climate change threatens the most in our country today. So to discuss this with us, we have two female leaders. I like to call them as Amazons because they are giants of African women and stand as a role model for women in their respective field. All right, many thanks for staying with us, and of course we have our guest in the studio with us, and I must say welcome to the show, Dr. Ahmed, and of course Atanda-Owo. It's a pleasure to have you both on the show today. How are you doing today?
Thank you.
You both look radiant.
Thank you.
All right, so going straight to the topic at hand, because I know that we've wasted a lot of time right now. I know that in our society, and this question is targeted at both of you, because I know in our society, our country, Nigeria to be precise, I want to get your own assessment on what gender equality means to you for sustainable tomorrow. Let me come to Mrs. Ahmed first. What's your take on this?
Gender equality, we mean different things to different people. But in essence, the summary is equal opportunity. Not seeing a person as female or male, but seeing a human being endowed by God to achieve in full potentials all she dreams to do or he dreams to do. So I think it's neither here nor there, because some people misconstrue it. But the basic thing is to give equal opportunity to all human beings on earth.
All right. Dr. Atanda-Owo, what's your take on the question I asked earlier?
Okay, so I'm just going to add to what she said already. So it's equal opportunity, yes. And that part of the Bible says male and female created Eden. So give everybody the opportunity. And you see, the additional thing is the fact that you cannot continue to allow one side to be latent, and that's if one side is latent, then we don't have a complete world, so there is that untapped reserve. And the truth of the matter is, it can actually be on the two sides. It can be on the male side, it can be on the female side. Just let's ensure that we maximize all the potentials we have in all the genders. And that's what gender equality. So it's not even about women. It's just that somehow we are turning it to women, because it's the women that have been marginalized over the years, over the century. It's about equality across board, because we've had cases where we have more women in a particular sector or particular industry or business or whatever, and then the men are lacking. So gender equality across board and maximize all the potentials available. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for your submission on that particular one. I know a lot of women have been speaking against bias, and that's because women feel that there is something we need to have that we're not, we're not able to achieve. What would you say are the biases that women have to deal with under this particular climate that we're in generally? Or maybe I should ask Mrs. Ahmed first.
Bias, for instance, will come into effect when one is denied the privileges that is supposed to enjoy over the others. When we talk about the bias that women come across, I think it's traditional, right from our great-grandfathers. You see that women are not given equal space with men, and even when you talk about the society going to work, in workplaces, sometimes women are denied some job because they say, oh, she'll soon get pregnant. She'll soon be nursing a baby. So even some women will even prefer hiring men because of this peculiarity. And so these are the things that over the time has accumulated and transferred to our politics. But the biases, I must say, we are the maker of our problems as women. And that's even start from homes. When you want to treat the male child different from a female child, You want to ask the female child to be the one in the kitchen so that the boys will go and play football and only come to the table when the food is ready. Or our great-grandfathers will say, okay, the female child will soon be getting married and will no longer carry the family name. So it is the male child that should go to school. But these are what we are getting now is the effect of what we have taught children over time. And so we now have men deciding the fate of the other gender, the female. So there are biases everywhere, and I think it's time to confront it.
All right. Do you have maybe an additional take on that?
Oh yeah. So I think my own take is majorly the unconscious ones. And that's why you hear a lot of unconscious bias. Because one way or the other, it had become a culture, it had become a tradition. Everybody had come to then accept it as the norm. And those are the ones we really need to actually work on. I don't want to use the word fight, but at least let's work on it to consciously, intentionally, deliberately work on it.
My question here, first of all, as the only man on this set, I'd like to say, I'd like to say Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
And if this was to be the platform for judgment of equality, the men out there can already see that there isn't any equality here. In any case, a few days ago, some women were protesting. Women and CSOs were protesting before the National Assembly for a bill seeking equality for women, which was also, we hear, that was thrown out by the lawmakers. But for me, my question will be, so much talk about gender equality seems to me like a fallacy. On the international space, on other climes, we see that women are even given better rights, better placement. If a man and a woman of the same educational qualification or specialization get into a corporate organization, you find out that most probably the woman will be more highly placed than the man, or more highly paid than the man. So, but it's here back home in Africa, or in our local stance in Nigeria, where we find culture and tradition dominating the space. And even you women, mothers, would come and say, look, let's give honor to whom honor is due, to the fathers. In certain instances, women would even naturally exempt themselves from certain meetings because they feel that they shouldn't be in that meeting. And if your daughter there wants to be part of that meeting, you say, no, it's not a place of a woman. So rather than fight for equality, why not fight against some of these traditional beliefs and culture that restrict your rights?
Exactly.
That would be my question to both of you.
Those are actually the unconscious bias. Well,
yes, you see, Rome is said not to have been built in a day. If you look at history, you will see that this consciousness that is coming about with women was built over time. 10, 15, 20 years ago, you don't have as many women as we have now talking about these biases. Because over time, what you observe is right. Women were not given their space. Our parents wanted to protect us because they felt that the female is more endangered than the male. They are not as strong as their brothers, and so they have to be protected. This need for protection over time was what even prevented some parents from asking their children to go to school. They feel the teachers are going to beat them, so just stay at home. Or prevent their daughters from going to farm, participating in the what was the normal main way of life then, going to farm. Those are the things. But you see, education over time now gradually is raising our consciousness. And you now have more women talking about it. You now have more women getting qualified to stand side by side with the male folk. So we are talking about it over time. But what we need to do now is to be deliberate and take action. That is just what we need to do, because from what people watching this television now, you may think it's not affecting the traditional, thought, what do you call, culture and religion, but they are listening. Gradually, many people are changing their minds from what their belief was before.
Because, sorry to interject, because if you look at certain practices like female genital mutilation, you find out that it is even women that are carrying out these practices, this evil act on fellow girls. You know, so what do you say?
Well, there's that saying that women are their own, they are their own enemies.
Yes.
You know, so it still boils down to that unconscious bias. These are things that over the years we had built as culture that we now need to consciously break, and that is why United Nations that declared this year's IWD hashtag break the bias.
Break the bias together.
Break the bias.
My show, break the bias.
Some cases, when you do like this, you could be mistaken for a member of a certain court. So I don't think I want to break, break the bias.
Yeah, break it by force, by fire.
Do this way, you can only go this way.
Okay, so break the
bias. Break the
Yes,
bias. So
I agree.
we just need to work at it. We need to understand the pride of the lion. So let me say the pride of the lioness. Together we stand, united we stand. So I think it's also part of the unconscious bias. We women need to working together, supporting each other, and stop pulling down each other.
I hear you, working together. But I know that in our country we have cited many instances of gender inequality, and as far as I'm concerned, I feel that we women have risen to that place where we are against it. But
yes,
the bill for women when it comes to inclusion at the Senate was something that we also declined due to rejection by the representatives on ground. But I would like to ask you, Dr. Atanda-Owo, we are not asking for 50 to 50 what's it called, representation, but what we're asking for is 30%, but we are only seeking for inclusion when it comes to us raising that 30% for women. So I must ask you, what's your view thus far on it with all the debates that it has brought online?
You see, I don't really see the issue here, especially with the National Assembly, because Nigeria has a national gender policy. That national gender policy clearly states a 35% affirmative action, which is expected to cut across all spheres, all sectors, all parts of both business, governance. So it's already what is written in the policy. So now saying that make it happen in governance, in politics, I don't see any big deal in it, because we already have it. And the truth of the matter is, if the women decide to sue the government to court, they're going to win. Because we already have it clearly written in black and white in the national gender policy that says there's a 35% affirmative action. And the gender policy, the national gender policy did not say that that does not include governance. So for me, I don't see any case here. I think it's just a bit of a drama. And I think that drama was unnecessary, and more so that the drama was staged at a very wrong time. United Nations Women declared 2022 International Women's Day as the Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. The same day, 1st of March, is when our own leaders, beautiful, wonderful leaders decide to also say no gender equality or no gender bill. So does that mean Nigeria doesn't want a sustainable tomorrow? That's the question we'll be asking, because if the whole world says gender equality, either male, either female, then you have a sustainable tomorrow, and then Nigeria then says we don't want that gender equality, what it means is we don't want a sustainable tomorrow. I'm a mathematician. I've just done my own equals.
All right, well said. But let me come to you, Dr. Ahmed, because I don't want to ask the same question because of time. I know that you both are giants in the oil and gas industry, especially in Nigeria, or will I say Africa, to be precise, because I know a lot of things that you've been doing. But I must ask you, how did you rise against, will I say, inequality, or how did you win your way to this powerful position that that is, will I say, male-dominated industry?
Yes, thank you very much. I've been in the oil industry for more than 30 years. But the how, which is the question you ask me, I will attribute it to the dream of Mr. President. Okay. Even though the National Assembly did not approve our request. But you see that gradually, over this period that we had this President Muhammad Buhari, you can see that he's actually steadily making a difference in the way he places women side by side. It's tough though.
I don't agree.
Yeah?
I don't agree.
No,
if 6 years down the line, or 7 years down the line, he's making a difference.
I'm just going to give you a practical example. She just asked the question, how? It took the president to decide that on the board of NNPC, which is maybe one of the biggest boards in Africa, that there has to be a woman. Last year, in 2020, I was appointed a member on the board representing North Central. Then we had 5 other board members who were men. It has always been men over the years. And just this year, he decided to increase it. And we're now 50-50. We have 3 women.
We say kudos.
Yes.
Well done.
We have 3 women on the board. Not only that, he went ahead to appoint a woman for the first time to be the chairperson of NNPC board. Those are clear statements of the way he's thinking. We're going to get there. But you see, as the head of this country, if he can do that, he's indicating to others that it is possible for us to give women a chance. To me, I see this as a big deal and an example for others, for the decision makers to know that. For instance, we are about 200 million people now, Nigerians, and we are told that by 2050 we'll be about 400. You can imagine if the population of male to women is said to be 50-50. You can imagine if you deny the equal partnership of the other folk. Where is the sustainability? So it is important for us to understand that we have to be strategic, we have to be determined, and we have to take action to empower women if we must have a sustainable tomorrow.
Fantastic submission. Many thanks for that. We'll go on a quick break to get a message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is about International Women's Day, and this theme is about gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And we have been talking to 2 powerful women from the oil and gas industry sector in Nigeria. That's Dr. Ahmed, a member of the governing body of NNPC, and of course we have Dr. Atanda-Owo from the National President for Women in Oil and Gas. And I must say many thanks for all your submission thus far. But quickly, for those who are listening to us and watching us across the globe, remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio numbers 08098877400 showing on your screen right now, and you can make your comments on social media platform on Real Talk with Kike. And of course, we are streaming live on YouTube page, on Silverbird platform, and on Facebook, and of course on Real Talk with Kike on Facebook as well. And like Kamasha was saying, that he's impressed with what Dr. Ahmed have just shared thus far, and I think that we must say well done to His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. But coming to you, I want us to have a balanced perspective when it comes to female gender participation, because I feel that before we came to the studio today, I engaged some of my colleagues out there when I was talking about their fields of females' fields of endeavors when it comes to mechanics, plumbing, carpenters, constructions, and of course even architects and so on. And I feel that we are not fighting for that inclusion, or would I say that we women, I don't want anybody to come after me, but I'm just being real here. I just feel that we women are not ready when it comes to that aspect, because it is a male-dominated sector. But the men have also used that also against us, that we are only power or authority driven when it comes to us seeking for International Women's Day. I have seen some debate like that people have DM'd me. But coming to you, I want you to please enlighten people. What encouragement do we need to give to women in these areas, or will I say when it comes to inclusion that women don't need when in terms of participation in the area that is male dominated, or will I say that women are not ready to go to that field? When I travel abroad, I see a female driver that is an Uber. I see female plumbers. Why don't we have that in Africa or in Nigeria, that we feel that it is men that have to be in that sector? What's your take, Dr. Oladunyo?
Okay, thank you very much, Kike. So this is my take. If you were 19th century, it's fine. 18th century, fine. Even 20th century, it's fine. But this is 21st century. A lot of things have changed. Yeah. The world has gone digitalized. So you no longer need 6 packs for a lot of things that we used to need 6 packs for. I no longer need 6 packs to drill oil. I just need to understand the numbers. I just need to understand the digital system and then press and get it done. So gone are the days where you want to wash clothes and you have to sit down and be doing like this. And now you just put your clothes in your washing machine and it gets, washed. And gone are the days where everybody you have to use manual gear and all that. Now you just put it on drive and you don't have to change. So we just need to let the women know that things have changed, things have improved. There's a lot of digitalization now.
Apologies, I might have to interrupt your line of thoughts. I'm being told that we have a caller on the line. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from, please? Many thanks for calling. Hello, are you there? Apologies, I have to let that go.
Yeah. Okay.
Lolo.
Yeah. You were saying, I thought you were still...
Oh, yeah. So basically, you necessarily don't need all those energies any longer. And that is where things have improved, things have changed. And people now, we do a lot of things by thinking. There's now artificial intelligence, there's the AI, digitalization, and so on. And very soon, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of things that the robotics are taking over, even in the Western world, and they are streaming into Africa. So we need more women that will study STEM, so that we can even come up with more digitalization, more robotics, more artificial intelligence, to take over all these things.
I was going to ask that a lot of men have had, when you were talking about us not doing, when we're talking about what's happening at the National Assembly, at it being coming at the time, or the manner at which we approached it was wrong. I'm looking at it that moving forward, how do we position women that a woman will be prominent enough for other women to be able to say, we can support this person? Is it that we need to start to groom women, especially for politics, like they do abroad, like career politicians? Because if we keep talking about this and we don't make proactive steps, who are we going to really rally around? Because women would rather criticize than have that prominent figure like a Martin Luther King, somebody that we can look up to and say, yes, this is an opinion leader when it comes to women.
All right, before you answer that, we have a caller on the line. Many thanks for calling. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? Hello.
David, welcome to the show.
Apologies. Go ahead, madam.
Okay. Your question is very apt. There was a place I spoke this morning and I said, look, the men are not going to give us equal opportunity. Women have to position themselves to be able to stand side by side with men. Even though asking for 35% affirmative action, they are not going to give to women who are not prepared, who are not ready, who have not arrived at that position. Leadership, you don't buy it. You have to earn it. You have to be able to give what it takes. The important thing is for us to continue to encourage women to take available opportunities to invest in themselves, develop themselves. What does it take for a man and a woman to be qualified for it? We all go to the same school. We all have the same opportunities, but we only know that right now, men who take decisions sometimes are biased in deciding who takes what. But you see, as time goes on and you have women who are equally as qualified, perhaps more qualified than men, they will be visible. So we need to mentor women, mothers, teachers. It is important that we mentor women to know that they have to take it. Asking for it will not even get us there. Take it by doing what is right and getting the training, the skill, the knowledge, the education that will make you visible to stand side by side, so that with other women holding your hands and challenging our menfolk, we'll be able to play somebody.
Okay, very quickly, because we're running out of time gradually. For me, I'd like to really ask, do you think that corruption has a place to play in the gender inequality? Because you said that leaders who are supposed to hand it out will not hand it out except women take it. And do you think it's a matter of leaders not knowing that women, of the fact, has been proven to be less corrupt than men, and if you give them the power, they'll just block the loopholes and where these largesse will be coming from? Do you think corruption has a role in that?
Great question. Corruption has a role to play in so many things, in every aspect of our lives. You see, having a system and structure in place that will prevent corruption will give enabling environment to male and female to strive. So whatever we do, corruption cannot be eliminated, but it can be reduced. But seeing women who are equally qualified, who have reached that level of leadership, we reduce the bias of men. And having a system and a structure that allow an equal play field, we make the man as honest as a woman.
All right.
All right, many thanks for that submission. I think this is just a follow-up question to what Lolo asked earlier, and I feel that we can continue to talk or debate here, especially when it comes to the fact that women need empowerment to be able to compete and be included in the table with men. But my question to you quickly, and I will appreciate if you can answer in 1 minute, because I feel that you're an achiever, and achievers like you both, you've built yourself over time, and to be included and to be recognized in your field, especially in the oil and gas sector that is male dominated. So my question to you is, what areas should women focus on in terms of empowerment? Quickly in 1 minute. Dr. Atanda-Owo.
Okay, so capacity building, and don't wait for somebody to sponsor you there. Sponsor yourself. A lot of trainings I did by myself. And then there were even online training and all this training we have now. So sometimes I have to take part of my own money to go see a training inside newspaper of those days and then subscribe to it, pay my money, sometimes even out of state. So I have to fly from Lagos to Port Harcourt, for instance, pay hotel bill, pay flight ticket, pay my own money to get trained. So when I sit and I talk, and you know that I know my onions. So women need to go out there, and exactly what she said earlier, it has to be a deliberate action. So build yourself. And then now, thank God these days we have a lot of online training, capacity building things, both within and outside Nigeria. Just subscribe to it. Some of them are zero, as in cheap, free. The ones that are free, leverage on them. The ones that are not free, pay whatever it is if you really want to get it.
Fantastic. Let's hear your own view.
There will be no handout. You have to go for it. You have to get it. And also, when you talk about the oil and gas industry, a lot of things are changing. Women, for instance, I'm told that there's some schools where certain careers are no longer done, but you have to be visible. You have to be deliberate, and you have to aim at what you want in the industry, and
All
you will
right.
get it.
All right, many thanks for that. Women, be deliberate and be ready to, self-develop yourself. Do not wait for anybody to give you handout. That is what Dr. Oladuniwo and, of course, Dr. Ahmed have shared thus far. And I must say many thanks for all that you have shared on the show. But quickly, before we let you go, there's the last segment of the show that we call Trending Story that affects us as Nigerians, that bind us together. And the first trending story that caught our attention is that of Dr. Abati in his statement referring to mannerless youth on set and all of that. But let me come to all of us. Omotunde, what's your take on this story when you saw it? It trended online for a few days. What's your take on this?
My first take was, what is the culture of the station and how are they usually addressed? Because every station, every industry, they have a culture. There are some workplaces that no matter how your age, they are referred to by their first names or maybe by acronyms or something. So I just want to ask that, how do they address themselves in Arise TV? Maybe if we know that, I'll know how to really respond to what he said. Maybe when he said mannerless youth, I think it's just an omnibus statement, maybe not directed totally at the journalist in question, maybe just a general overview. And, just the way we just talk sometimes and it can just be misunderstood. Maybe that is what happened particularly. I need to just get some more clarifications to know how I will address it. Really.
All right, many thanks to Motunde for your submission on this. I just want to say that I wish I wasn't discussing this, but I had to oblige to it because Dr. Reuben Abati, as far as I'm concerned, is family to me, and I'm not defending his words right now, especially when it comes to him referring to saying mannerless youth, but I'm only defending the position that people should be accorded due respect, especially when it comes to their professional space in terms of courtesy in their respective discipline. And I also feel that for clarity's sake, it's not under Arise, is not a staff of Arise TV. For someone like that who have, accumulated a lot of pedigree or qualification in his field, I just feel that it can be categorized as a colleague of the same cadre with the correspondent lady. And I feel that what Dr. Reuben Abati, was actually saying at the time when I think if we all watch the video when Emefiele came in, was more or less like in a jocular manner. But however, I want to use this opportunity to also educate people, because I saw quite a number of debates online. Let me bring back our youth to how they should read, because I feel that Dr. Reuben Abati was the first, we should remind people who this person is. This was the former chairman of editorial board of Guardian newspaper, and most recently as the special advisor to former President Jonathan, against many other achievements that I do not want to bore viewers. But many may also be quick to say that she's being professional and doesn't require the respect, or requires the kind of respect that in terms of the tone at which people have argued about online. But I'm not saying that she should say sir or use ma, as the case may be. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm feeling that in a professional courtesy, if she had appended doctor to his name, this is where I feel that there was an issue. I'm also, just like Lolo emphasized earlier, that okay, it depends on what the culture of the organization is, not just the culture, but also how the people, the staff over there have been referring to Dr. Abati, is what I feel that other people need to take a cue from, and how people want to be addressed. Also, when it also comes to, will I say, the professional ethics or in an office environment, I feel that courtesy and respect is something that we all need to hold dearly. And I want to also give us a few instances, because I feel that we call our President Buhari behind closed doors in our living rooms. But that doesn't mean that we can also come on live TV. I saw when you were talking earlier, Dr. Ahmed, and you were talking about President Muhammadu Buhari, and you referred to him. But I'm sure that when we are in our living rooms, we kind of drop our guards and say, oh, Buhari, and without attaching the title of president to its name. I also want us to also come to speed when it comes to our pastors in church, because I feel that we call our pastors by their names. You know, we will also add the likes of Pastor Oyedepo or Archbishop and so on and so forth. And those are the things that I want us to actually, you know, think about. I also want to use the fact of Wole Soyinka. If Wole Soyinka was on set, they say how I refer to him, Wole Soyinka, but the question is, Wole Soyinka was on set, I would say Professor Wole Soyinka, because that is the appropriate way to address him, with the fact that he's present with him, and the title of professorship must be added. Now, coming back to the fact that a lawyer will go to or will go to court, and you dare not say to the person who is going to take judgment, I think, to say, my lord, sir. You know, I feel that judges even today, even though despite the fact that you guys are colleagues, you will still refer to the judge as my lordship or my lord, sir, and the likes, and those are the things that I feel that even in legal profession that is being taken. Now, aligning with the Western culture, as far as I'm concerned, I just feel that, you know, we have constantly or subconsciously we have rejected our culture and abandoned our own rich, you know, we have embraced other people's culture and have abandoned our own rich culture ethics. And I like when Mrs. Ahmed was talking earlier, and you were talking about the culture and religion that is changing gradually, which is one of your submission, and I felt that was a good one. But maybe the youth of today might also want to align it to the fact that you belong to the olden days generation, because that they always make an excuse. Now, coming back to what many of us need to know, because as far as I'm concerned, I feel that the good, or how will I put this now, I feel that it is good to always do good for the sake of tomorrow. A lot of people do not know that Dr. Abati was the one that facilitated the employment of the said correspondents in the first place. I'm not making an excuse for it, but Yoruba people will say Teba Shore Uma Agbagbe, because you are not expecting something in return. You know, this is somebody, if you feel that you even have the person's number, even if the person addressed you by your first name, you want to say, okay, after the show, you know, I can pick my phone and bell the person and say, what familiarity is that? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I also feel that, you know, this is not a fight or a personal beef, but I just want to use this opportunity to enlighten ourselves, enlighten the viewers, enlighten the youth of today. We don't know what professional courtesy would fetch us tomorrow or even today. That is the reason why we must always remember that there's a culture that must bind us in all our action, and it's only credible and responsible for, or will I say reasonable, for us to respect academic doctors, as far as I'm concerned, because, you know, you want to give them their due professional courtesy. You earned your doctorate degree today, and more so Dr. Ahmed as well. So to the youth who are just quick to or love to trend or like to jump on sensational news, I want to use this medium to say that many of you can't pick the meaningful takeaways, because sometimes when I look at some of the write-ups online, I feel that, you know, the youth of today can actually create time, take time, just like we have all emphasized today, that there's no handout that will be given to them. You must be ready to at least self-develop yourself. So I'm using this message to say that, you know, our youth should please not disrespect people, especially online, the disrespectful thing that goes on. And there's a Yoruba adage that says, I'm sorry, I'm a Yoruba girl, and I like to, you know, always add my submission to a lot of things. In a short notice, that when, you know, respect and courtesy is part of our culture, and we should always promote it. And if your parents birth you, you should respect yourself. Yeah. And that's my take on it. Marshall, quickly, what's your take on this?
Well, I think you've said quite a number of things. Maybe we could make this another topic for an entire show.
But quickly, in 1 minute.
Ruben is a fantastic human being. He's been remotely a mentor to me. I like what he did while he was serving in the administration of Goodluck Jonathan. But I think it was wrong to have referred to whether lower cadre or senior cadre, any level of colleague of his as mannerless. When President Muhammad Buhari referred to Nigerian youth as jobless, was it jobless or useless? Lazy Nigerian youth. We all called him out as a president. We all called him out. And I'm sure you also called him out. So Nigerian lazy youth, Nigerian youths are lazy. From different perspectives, we reviewed that. From a very professional perspective, I think he also would know that maybe it was a slip of thought. I think that entire thing started quite humorously, jovially. He brought that assertion of, were you on my naming ceremony and all of that, as the jovial person that he is. But the icing on the cake of mannerless youth, I think it came out quite wrongly. You know, that's for me.
All right, Dr. Oladunyo, what's your take? Quickly,
okay, so basically, we just need to understand the protocols. And I think it's cut across both youths, adults, everybody. There are protocols around all these things. I was talking to a friend who is a wife to an ambassador. And then all the while she was referring to her husband, she kept telling me, His Excellency. I'm going to tell His Excellency. She could have said, I'm going to tell my husband or my bobo or something. Or she can say, I'm going to, at one point, I had to also learn it. Please help me tell His Excellency. So we all need to understand the protocols that guide this thing. Then when we are back in our rooms, like you said, we can say Buhari and all that, you know. So His Excellency, Royal Majesty, whatever it is, let's give everybody their own time and space.
Ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Sometimes statements are read out of context.
Exactly.
That's the way I think it is. And sometimes we may not know what must have transpired that, you know, that brought out that negative energy. You know, so we are only judging the aftermath or what we heard. But respect begets respect, and I think that we should just read in between the lines and take it easy.
All right, many thanks for your submission. Quickly, I think we have 5 minutes to quickly treat this story. And the second trendy story that caught our attention is that of the tragic loss of Bamise, who entered BRT bus. I don't know if we have the video or pictures showing, but Marshall, let me come to you quickly. What's your take on this story?
I heard that human rights guys are suing Lagos State government, and then it's gradually becoming a debate as to whether or not Lagos State government can be sued on this matter or not. I think that they can be sued. I think that the person whom they are petitioning against, the bus driver, is a staff of Lagos State government, and then his boss should get involved. It's sad that the girl cannot fight for her right now, but people who understand human rights can fight for the right of even those that have departed. Whatever happened to that girl should be thoroughly investigated. We always, the government always comes to say they've installed cameras here and there. These cameras should be, monitors should be revisited, and let's really see what really happened. The level of involvement of the BRT bus driver, from where he took off, from where the girl boarded, to where he claimed the girl was dropped off and he ran off. Let's see his involvement, and just then might we get to the root of it.
All right.
Very sad, very, very sad. Honestly, it just begs the question of insecurity that we have overflogged and talked about. When are we going to come out of this situation? It's been one too many killings, and there's a term in law called vicarious liability, where the master is liable for the act of his servant. So but I'm happy the stance that the governor of the state has come out to make a public statement that they will do everything in their power to investigate and make sure that this matter is not swept under the carpet. And that's what I'm hoping we're going to see in this case, because no matter what we say, there is no good. Even if we do get justice, we're not going to bring that young lady back. Nothing. We're just guiding the lives of other youths for the future.
All right, many thanks, Omotunde, for that. I think before I give my submission, I want to commensurate with the family of Bamise Ayonwole, and this is indeed a tragic loss. And I say today, I saw that there's a protest that has been staged at Ojota on this issue, and of course, the youth are also calling our Lagos State government. I have also seen some statement from Lagos State government. I know that the BRT driver has been caught, you know, and of course, investigation are still ongoing. But however, there's a clear call to the government, if you ask me, especially when it comes to insecurity, you know, the insecurity in our country. I feel that the story informs us that the lady that was killed was, she called her friend when she was in the BRT burst. So her intuition told her that there was something off, but she just couldn't place it. But the evil perpetrators still even, went on with carrying out their evil deeds. But there are some questions that came to mind when I was also watching this, listening to the driver that was picked. And the first question that came to mind was, what happened to our 911 emergency line in Nigeria? And what happened to our security surveillance system? Because I feel that as of today, do we even have a surveillance system was also what came to mind. And also when it comes to our BRT buses, does our BRT buses have trackers? Those are the things that also came to mind. And this is not a rocket science. If she had if she had disabled her phone with 911, maybe her phone would be under surveillance and the movement of the BRT will be traced. But we all know will be monitored till the evil people are round up their evil act, But back to our people and our phone culture, I feel that I also want to use this medium because I feel sometimes, we should learn not to abuse emergency line and emergency situation. And I also feel that many people are fond of abandoning their mobile phones. We've not turned our mobile phones to landlines. And it is a mobile phone. There's a reason why we call it mobile phone. And I feel that we should all know that calls and messages that of people who are in distress, especially when it comes to the way people act when it comes to our phones. Today, you will realize that somebody will send you a text message, Marsha, and some people might not respond until 24 hours later. And I'm wondering, why do you do that when we are saying that this is a mobile phone? And we all know that as of today, we are all glued to our phones because our phones have become the new TV, however we look at it. And I know that, let me also say this, a stitch in time saves 9, because if somebody has responded or if somebody that she has messaged have reacted to that, perhaps the friend who she messaged would have taken an action. But because sometimes we are nonchalant about certain things, and I just want us to say that may our soul rest in peace, because I really do not want to imagine our last moment, our last minute on earth. It's just so unfortunate. It's just a loss that I do not pray for even the enemies, our enemies to go through this, and they are so rest in perfect, and I hope that she will be brought to books. I know. All right, we ran out of time, but with that, we've come to the end of another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike, and I must say many thanks to Dr. Atanda-Owo, and of course to Dr. Ahmed for all your submissions thus far, and of course creating time to be here today, and of course to the real, all the way from Abuja, yes, and to the real talkers, Marshall and Martin.
I saw your shoes. I like your shoes.
Oh.
Happy International Women's Day.